This is the sign of a sad ginger man. Dan lied and said that if he was coming down till 6 and he's not, and if I did that he'd be very mad. And at this rate, our car will never be done.
It will be. I've got an exam next week as well.
Who's crying now?
I've got an exam on Friday.
We're just playing around with the heater hoses to find a setup that works. We smoothed the bracket for the heater matrix out of the bay. The cable usually comes through here, pulls a lever that then determines whether you want warm water in the car or not, which obviously then gives you heat. And essentially, because we've got rid of the bracket off the firewall here, which used to hold it, we're having a few troubles trying to get it to operate. So I think what we're going to do is operate this manually. So we're just going to obviously turn it with our fingers to determine whether we want heat or not. And we're just going to make up a hose between here and here, cut this one down slightly, and then yeah, heat hoses should be done. This one goes on the top here, and should look something like that. There. We are just playing around with the fuel pressure regulator to see if we can get some pressure in the system. As you've probably just seen, actually, because I imagine it'll be in the same episode, we weren't getting any fuel pressure through this thing, so we think that the orifice that's in it is letting too much of the fuel back through the return line. So
mole grips are not really the way forward.
And we didn't want to continue using mole grips to pressurise the system, so we're going to try and drop this in and try and limit the flow, and hopefully that will give us some pressure. So we're just taking it apart, obviously no idea what we're doing.
Standard.
So we'll see what happens when that thing comes off. It's not going to shoot off, is it? Whoa! Again, still no idea what this is.
You don't keep it in the same order.
Yeah, spring, cup thing.
That's the diaphragm.
We've run into a bit of a problem. Our lovely fuel pressure regulator only returns out of the bottom. So all the fuel that is going into here, the reason it's not being pressurized is because it's supposed to return out here and return out the bottom and then go back to the tank. We've got it running straight through, so it doesn't pressurize left to right, it pressurizes up to down. So all of the fuel is just rushing straight back to the tank without pressurizing, which is why we're getting no pressure in the fuel system. So now what we've got to do is redo all of our fuel lines essentially. So we're going to have to return out the bottom here, back to this fitting, and then this one's going to have to come down and under and round. So it's a bit annoying, probably should have checked it beforehand, but hey ho.
I did tell him beforehand, but he wasn't having any. He's going, no, you've got an interchangeable orifice.
He never said that.
I'm just having a play around with the brake lines at the moment. Carl's kindly lent us his flaring tool just to give us a standard 45-degree flare, I think it is. We've got the one for the AM fittings, which does a 37-degree flare. So hopefully this is the end that I'm trying to sort of replicate. I've got all new brake fittings, so I should be able to remake that on the end of our brake lines, but I'm just sort of practicing a bit here at the moment just so I don't sort of mess it up on the ones in the car. So I'm going to try and replicate that, and as soon as I have, I'll get the ones out of the car and start doing those hopefully.
forgot to film it, but I've got both ends on the front brake lines now. So this obviously goes into the brake line, the gold end and the black end goes into the car where we've run all the lines through from the inside. So this, as you can see, comes out of the cabin here, loops up and then goes into the flexi brake line. So it looks a little something like that. So I'm going to get that put in, and then I think after that I'm going to go and see Mark because he needs to borrow something that we've got here, the crank pulley tool. So I'm going to go see him and Lawrence because they're building Lawrence's car back up, or engine rather. So I'm going to go and see him, and I might pop back here after, but it's getting on for 4 o'clock now, I think. That's all in. It's not tightened down yet because I'll have to do that with the wheel off, but looks pretty good. It's loops up. This is where it used to come out here and just go straight down. Haven't tested it on full lock yet. I don't think it will hit, and there's no reason for it to hit. So yeah, it looks pretty good, I think. Nice. I'm here. Oh, wrong door. Oh, wrong door again. I reckon they're in there playing with VTEX. Hello, Ings. Hello. Race car. I'm down with Lawrence and Mark now, and they're just putting the engine back together. I had a bit of a nightmare, but fixed. New belts and shit. Blue ones. Blue for more power.
1,000 horsepower.
So yeah.
It's going to be faster than down it rolls.
Thanks for your crank pulley tool, Carl. We're borrowing that at the moment. So I probably look like a sweaty mess right now. It's rather hot outside. I think it's about 1 o'clock now, maybe. Yeah, 10 to 1. I've been down here since about 9 o'clock this morning, and so far all I've done is tidy up. So the place was an absolute mess. Could barely walk around. So I've put everything back where it should be, and I just hate it. Dan can't seem to understand why I can't do any work when I can't find any tools or can't, you know, determine where any of the bits are for the car. So I've put everything away, or tidied it away as best as I can for now. And now I'm going to start cracking on. So I am going to get the car up in the air, get all the wheels off, finish up the brake lines. Well, in theory, once that's done, we should be able to put some brake fluid in it and sort of test the brakes out and whatever. So yeah, nearly done. Not sure what I'll do after that. It's going to be a bit of a pain in the arse on my own, to be honest with you, because I've got to get all these brake lines out and flare both ends. So that'll be a bit challenging, but hey ho. Get on with that now, and I shall keep you updated. I am so hot, it's ridiculous. I've been here now, well, it's about 2:30 now. I think I'm going to head home because I've got a family barbecue to go to. I've managed to get a couple of bits done, which is quite good. I was going to try and get the earths done, the sort of engine earths. So at the moment we've got some temporary earths here, and that is purely because when we fired it up we completely forgot that we'd even need them. So we've got one here sort of at the moment grounded on the shock tower. Ideally what I want to do is use one of these 10mm bolts here, run a wire down back and then ground it down there somewhere, and same on this side. So you need one coming off the off the gearbox, and again this is on the shock tower at the moment, but it will be down there somewhere. So I wanted to sort those out, but I haven't got a chance yet. But what I did manage to get done is, well, it probably looks no different actually because I've put it all back together already, but I have got all the brake lines sorted. So as you can see, the prop valves all connected. They run along here, each side again, and then I've connected them up underneath now as well. So next time I'm down here, I'll sort out all the flexi lines, get those put in their final position and whatnot. But yeah, it's all back in. All the brake lines are done. The front ones, which I did yesterday, are obviously already in. I need to get the front up and tighten those up properly, but I'll do that at a later stage. So yeah, gonna clean this bird shit off the windscreen in a second. For some reason, well, birds get in here somehow, and when I was clearing up earlier I found this. Poor little thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that's me done for the day. Spent most of it tidying up, but well worth it, I suppose. Be back either during the week or next weekend, hopefully with Dan. Also, while I remember, if you have an 89 car, well, 89 Civic, and you try and put 90 or 91 rear lights on it, they don't actually fix. The chassis for some reason is different. So this little what's it here actually sits behind here. So yeah, that doesn't work. So we're gonna have to somehow wire these up from these connectors. So that'll be a job for another day, but just realised that, which is nice. But yeah, see you next time. I think it might work.